Here we are with simple disk cleanup for Windows 7 and Windows 8. If you've ever worried about how much disk space you're using, how much have you got left, if that's red, that's a bad thing, but it's good to run this at least once a year to run disk cleanup and just get rid of all the system files that Microsoft creates on your behalf. Nothing you're doing wrong, it's just system files that accumulate. So to do disk cleanup, just go to Start, Search, and type in disk cleanup. And then it will think and think and think. For the purposes of this video, I've actually slowed it down a bit. And you get a variety of different options here, but the one you really want to go to is get rid of system files in that lower left-hand corner. Once you click that, it's going to think and think and think and think, because it's got to get rid of all of those Windows Update files, backups of the files it's replaced. So you should recommend people allow about 20 minutes for this job. And then we just go through and highlight all those items, temporary internet files, but the big one is down at the bottom. You want to get rid of those system backup files, system service pack backup files. So you notice by the time we're finished checking all of these things off, we're going to regain over a gigabyte of space, which can be quite a lot if your computer's really slowing down. So usually leave the setup logs, but everything else you can probably get rid of and say, yes, I'm sure I want to get rid of these. And one of those other options is you can get rid of system restore files. I don't normally recommend that because it can cause problems if you're trying to recover from problems. So just get rid of the stuff in the system setting files and then click OK. Now this process takes a long time. I've shortened it for the purposes of this video, but basically this can take anywhere from up to 15-20 minutes, sometimes even half an hour, depending on how much stuff you have in the system backup. So usually a good idea, and oh yes, forgot to mention, not a good idea to be working on your computer while you're trying to do this. So when you do disk cleanup, set aside a good half hour when you're not going to need the computer to do the work. I recommend you get the process started, probably go make supper or do the dishes or something while this thing's running, because it takes a long time to get rid of all those system files. I think when I did it for this one, and this machine has barely been used, it took a grand total of 15 minutes, and that's on a machine that hardly gets any use. If you've got a machine you're doing a lot of things like with photos, editing videos, and if you're scrupulous about running Windows updates, you're going to have a lot of temporary files. And it's nothing you're doing wrong. A lot of people say, oh, why do I have so many temporary files? Well, it's just the operating system that's creating them. It's nothing you're doing wrong. It's nothing wrong with the system. This is just actually normal computing behavior. It's just Microsoft's not very good at scheduling things to clean it up. Some people say, should I do disk cleanup or disk defragment? Disk defragmenting is not as important as it used to be. Anything Windows XP and prior, it was important, but since Vista, particularly since Windows 7, the machine is much better about defragmenting, so this process is more important for you. So once it finally finishes cleaning up all of those files, and it'll take a while, you could watch a Blue Jays game in the amount of time this takes sometimes. Then we can go check and see how much space we've actually regained. So on this computer, which I haven't used very much, if we go to Start and then Computer, it'll show that we've actually regained over a gig of disk space. And there might even be more once I restart the computer. And that's what it takes to do disk cleanup.